January 31st. Wow, a whole month of daily talks. I argued the case for reading and listening. I brought you the science on curiosity, explained human symbiosis with the data ilm, how language is what lifted us above all others through the ability to organize cooperation, the role that stories played, and that we are never more and certainly not longer alert than in dialogue, and why I am against empathy. There's still so much to come, but by now you might wonder, why? Trying to get you to think instead of absorb isn't a sure path to influence it on. I'm not even sure it's a path at all. But let me take you back to February 28th, 1993. You will have heard the story of Waco, of a Branch Davidians religious group, of David Koresh and his claim that God had given him the power to bring the apocalypse. Koresh had more than 100 people inside the compound with him, including dozens of children. Hostages. Only that these people didn't see themselves as hostages. They were devoted to Koresh. We might not understand it or believe it possible, but in their reality, God really had chosen David Koresh. He made this become the reality for them. An isolated case? Not at all. How many people have become convinced that coup is a reality? And how quickly? On the other side, how many people now shout the slogans of a fundamentalist religious terror organization whose agenda it is to annihilate a group of people for their religious beliefs / membership to a specific gene pool because freedom, whatever that means. But we don't even have to wade into political territory. How many people scratch, bite and kick each other to put down a lot of money just so they can take home a stainless steel cup? In the end, we all buy into something since the systems in which we organize to cooperate are all imaginary orders. Myths, something that vanishes as soon as people stop believing in them. We believe in them not because they are objectively true, but exactly because they enable us to cooperate effectively in one way or another. Most of those imaginary orders are not evil conspiracies, but some are, and some can drift into this direction because power corrupts. That's a scientific fact. It messes with our perception of reality. Also, sociopaths and narcissists are real, but mostly power corrupts. And when the move becomes a nightmare, it's usually a real nightmare. As I said before, my grandparents are Holocaust survivors on the one side and were Nazis on the other. Personally, I grew up in East Berlin. East Germany was a regime. Like any imaginary order, it needed to constantly and strenuously safeguard itself. Even the ones we are living now in. First off, you need true believers for that, especially in the elites and in the security forces. How do you create those? You never admit that the order is imaginary. You insist that the order is an objective reality created through gods or natural process. And you do so repeatedly. You incorporate the principles into anything and everywhere. Most of the data created and shared in a system will always revolve around the imaginary order. In East Germany, for example, everyone had to do the duty to work. A duty to work where one was told as one was told and for a wage that one was prescribed. If you didn't do it, you were arrested and you were made to work. The obvious advantage is that those in power have a cheap and flexible workforce. But there's a more hidden advantage to the arrangement, and that is an information monopoly. Everyone is at your disposal for all the working hours and the social gatherings to indoctrinate with newspapers and movies and TV shows and music. That was especially true for those with the most formable brains, still the children. Since all parents had to work, all children from a couple of months old were cared for in institutions and job organizations. You will not get everyone on board, so there is always violence, physical and psychological violence. In East Germany, What made the system even more perfidious was the fact that the single person was rewarded for arranging themselves with the system and for spying for the Stasi, the secret police. The spy-to-spied-on ratio was 1 to 2.5. It was so ubiquitous that you simply knew that some of your friends and family members reported on you. It made it hard to share anything but information beneficial to the imaginary order. Why did the East Germany still fail? A lack of computing power. The Stasi had all the information but couldn't put it together to a coherent picture. We are far more advanced now, technically. The total surveillance state would work now, and I don't think we should go there. It's a case of been there, done that, wouldn't give it even a single star. An antidote is thinking, making a habit out of it again. Not just absorbing information, but sorting it and computing it, imagining different better. Because other than nature laws, imaginary orders can be changed, can be improved. And here closes the circle, because here is another reason why I'm so interested in the medieval times. Medieval peasants often found it much easier than medieval intellectuals to imagine a different society, one of equals. And they found it much easier than us. Even prehistorical people did. I tell you another day why. For now, think. Make a habit out of thinking. I dream of a dialogue, so comment, like and share, so this has a chance to become a movement against the darkness.